Well, good morning, everyone, and it's nice to be among the living. I've had quite the week or so, and nothing uncommon, that your parents haven't gone through or you haven't gone through. But it has been, it has taken its toll on me, so I'm doing my best. Um, I had had a surgical procedure last Monday, a week ago today actually, wherein they put a tube in between my ribs, right in the side of my chest, in preparation to do another procedure in 2 weeks. This first one, they were remediating some bile that was in my liver because of a clogged duct. When they connect the donor liver and my liver and my ducts together, they don't always grow together perfectly, and so the result was some blockage or stricture is the term they use. And so this first procedure was to unclog the duct and extricate all of the fluid that was building up. And so I have a friendly little bag that's hanging off my side. Some of you may have had this become my little friend, hanging on the side, and gets drained a couple of times a day. So no fun. But it's wonderful to be back to chat with you. I don't have a ton of energy right now, and I'm trying to get the tests graded as soon as I can. I don't want to just blow through them. I want to give them some thought. So I appreciate your patience in dealing with me as, having to go through this liver transplant and subsequent procedures. But I'll get there eventually. I do want to talk a little bit about week 11, and my voice is quite bad, so let me just hydro a bit here. So week 11, we have a couple of cases, and they're essentially a discussion about company versus franchise growth, which is what I've done most of my life. So I'm quite familiar with those two models as an alternative to restaurant growth primarily. But it's not just restaurant, it's in other things too. And so these two cases are going to pose questions about why should you look at franchising versus company growth. And essentially the challenge between the two is that when you do company growth, you're paying for everything yourself. You pay 100% of the construction, the design, the permitting, the support, all that stuff. Whereas in the franchise model, you allow them the right to build your restaurant, and then they build it and operate it. And so there are some advantages and disadvantages. For companies that want to grow quickly and aren't as concerned about keeping control of things, franchising is a good model. Although historically, as young companies have franchised and lost control, the brand has struggled. And this Noodles and Company is no different. Aaron Kennedy and Ken Keemer are friends of mine. We all grew up in the Pepsi organization and in the restaurant divisions. And so I know these guys quite well. In fact, Aaron used to live in Denver, not too far from where I lived. And we talked about, his growing concepts and challenges and all that stuff. But it's certainly an alternative. To not franchise means that you have plenty of cash available to you to build these expensive restaurants. And so it limits your ability to grow because of the cash infusion. And so there's always alternatives to that, and giving up part of the company, going public, and getting public monies, getting partners, selling off part of the company for a percentage of the company. And so there's a spreadsheet in the Noodles case that allows you to kind of look at one versus the other and the trade-offs and pitfalls and downfalls. In a company operation, you are the one who makes all the money. In the franchise operation, you make most of the money. You pay out a percentage of your revenues as a franchise fee as well as an advertising fee. So just be aware of that. So first a little bit about, I won't speak in detail about the Martin Blair case, but there are some questions about strategic issues that you need to address. It asks you, what would you do? Which one would you pursue and why, based on this case? You know, would you do company growth, which sometimes is called organic growth? Would you do organic growth versus franchise growth? And why? What would be the reasons behind that in this case? And then it asks them the questions about strategy. You know, it's basically a strategy question. So, you know, which strategy should you follow and why? And I'd be looking for answers to your questions that include why. All right, so that's that case. The Noodles & Company case is really the primary case, and the case prep assignment, as I mentioned, discusses Aaron Kennedy and Ken Keemer. And Ken has been involved in a number of startup restaurant companies, and smart guy. I'm not sure what he's doing today. I should probably have Googled him, but I didn't. So again, this is a prep assignment. It's worth 20 points. It's due on the 29th, as is the Martin Blair case. 20 points on the 29th. The Blair has no spreadsheet, whereas the Noodles & Company has a worksheet, so we've included that. Let's see. There's question number 3. Just ask. There are 4 questions that say what. You know, what made Noodles an attractive opportunity? What caused the company's early struggles? What role does franchising play in the company's growth? You know, what? And so be prepared to answer those questions in detail. Chris will grade them based on how we've advised him to grade them, and so we're looking for detail in your answers, content, and so forth. There's a worksheet, as I mentioned. There's a question about estimating the total profit the company would have annually under franchise, and also the amount of revenue they would have if they used only a company growth scenario. Talks about you know, the 58 stores at the time of the case. Now I think today there's around 500, something like that. Okay, that's trying to be as simple as possible, but be sure that your answers are detailed and complete, and you get all the points we do. So that's the Noodles & Company. And then the overall case, the group case, focuses on both Noodles and Martin Blair. there is also a spreadsheet. And I think the spreadsheet, just to clarify, I think the spreadsheet is actually the spreadsheet we provide you in I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm still a little loopy based on the medication I'm on, as you can tell. I believe in the group assignment, the spreadsheet is the one that's found in the Noodles and Company case prep assignment. And you're to use it for the questions in this assignment. So it does it does recommend that you use a Word document and also the spreadsheet. So you'll just make 2 copies of it, one for both cases. All right. You're going to have to use some logic in this case. This is how much total profit would the company make if they chose to franchise. So you're going to have to look at the franchise cost. The franchise structure is, so you're going to have a franchisee who's paying the rights to build a particular restaurant concept. He does not need to go out and create a prototype, or she. They have those available as a franchisee. All you need to do is find the site, go through the approval process for the city, get a contractor, and so forth, and then you're off to the races. So you pay all of those expenses to build the restaurant, and to all the pre-opening expenses, all of those expenses are yours. Now, your hands will be held along the way. The franchisor will not leave you alone during that process, because there's tons of questions that come up. So there's a function some companies call the franchise rep. It's kind of all over the board in terms of the names they give it, but it's a person or people who are very supportive in trying to get you open and operating and successful. But you're paying for them as part of a startup fee. So the franchise, there's a startup franchise fee, there's an ongoing percentage fee, and so forth. So there's those costs also that you have to bear. Whereas a company operation, again, you're doing this all on your own. You need to allocate monies for startup, so you're going to have salaries and permit fees and all that kind of stuff you have to go through for startup, and then your construction costs. And then generally you'll have extra labor in the restaurant during the startup periods, just to make sure that you can train everyone and take care of the demand. Demand for new open restaurants are normally more than they are for a seasoned restaurant. And they sort of porpoise. They will go up and then come down a little bit and then go up again. So it's an interesting model. So it asks about how much you expect to make for either of them or both of them, and then explain your answer, provide your evidence. The Martin Blair case, or portion of the group case, is again, what strategy should you pursue, franchising versus organic or company growth. Compose your responses in a Word document and include your spreadsheet. So there is a comment in the paragraph at the very end that says, and I wish we did this in every case, but it says this means you not only answer the entire question, but your response includes support, evidence, analysis, and support to convince a seasoned professional to take your advice or approve your decision. So it's We're not looking for single question answers, single answer questions. We're looking for detailed, and that probably will be the one thing that you're graded most heavily on, is the detail of your answer. Okay, I promise to have a little bit more energy next time we meet. I promise to shave. I haven't shaved in a week. I've been in the hospital. And to be a bit more alive than I am today. I'm feeling it today. I just don't have the energy. But you guys are important to me, so I wanted to spend this time to send this video out. All right, brothers and sisters, I love you. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful to associate with you and your support. And, you know, I know all of us have our own issues that we're dealing with. I appreciate your support on mine. So I'll do better. We will see ya. Appreciate everything that you're doing. Bye now.